Brodie Brazil here with this recap for Game 63 on the season. The Sharks playing their third game in 4 nights and number 6 of 7 overall on this very long road trip. And what a rewarding 6-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres as San Jose scored first and never really looked back. Now, speaking of Buffalo, we don't have a bunch of fun player videos, unfortunately, to share with you on this breakdown. All we have are some photos of a pregame autograph session with Curtis Brown. That's right, my former assistant and the former Buffalo forward. He actually drew a line of people waiting for him to deface their Sabres merchandise with a Sharpie. I actually forgot there was a face under that beard. Anyways, it's takeaway time. In this game, first off, full marks to Alexander Georgiev once again. Now, we probably should have given him more credit for last night's 3-2 shootout win in Toronto to begin with. He was great there too, and this was supposed to be his chance for a night off in Buffalo, but instead, the Sharks kept Vitek Vanacek as the backup goalie due to the possibility of a potential trade. Remember, the deadline looms this Friday afternoon. As for the team, 2 wins in as many nights, and while the first one came via the slimmest of margins, this one turned out to be a very one-sided affair by the end. Not a lot of games have gone this good for San Jose since October, but they deserved this. Following so many tilts in February where they were so close, with so many good efforts, it was nice to see the hockey gods evening things out in favor of San Jose. Headline number 1, as in we have a new number 1. What if I told you that nobody in NHL history has recorded more blocked shots than Marc-Edouard Vlasic? Well, that's true, and that history became official in tonight's game. After the puck gets established in their O-zone, Buffalo's Jack Quinn took the historic shot here less than 3 minutes into the game, and with that puck off the skate, Vlasic has now blocked 2,165 shots in his career, which is the most by any single player since the NHL started tracking the stat in the 2005-2006 season. While true, it's not a long-standing NHL statistic, it's still an impressive feat. Right, Pickles?
It's a lot of block shots.
That's exactly what I said.
Pretty cool. Take pride in playing good defensively. Blocking shots is one of those things.
Well, but coming into the league, you know, it wasn't that much of a premium put on it, and then it really started to be something defensemen had to do. Did you think about that coming in the league, that, you know, I was going to have to be that type of defenseman?
I just knew that when it's your turn to block, you block it. And I did it in junior, so I assumed it was the same thing in the NHL to, you know, if it's your turn, it's your turn. And sometimes as a D-man, it's more your turn than somebody else. So I'll step in front of any puck I need to make sure it doesn't get to the goalie.
Headline number 2, and an early game of inches for the Sharks. They hit a trio of posts in the first period, but eventually got 2 goals in the second period. One of them was so close, it needed confirmation from Toronto. Let's remember where the first period left off. Celebrini already had a slam dunk backhand that he couldn't bury, and then this. Yikes. So we're still scoreless after 1. And then 61 seconds into the second period, William Eklund with that silky cross-slot pass, his 3rd assist in the last 3 games. Liljegren looks to bury it, and he's pretty sure he did. I mean, Toffoli already has his hands up in the air, but no red light, no indication, so play continues on. This is one of those weird situations that occasionally happens in hockey. At the next stoppage, it's easy to see with the overhead view that puck did cross the goal line clearly. Watch Liljegren as he watches the video proof on the scoreboard. Oh yeah, that's a big Swedish smile. Then later, with the game tied at 1, Graf helps untie it. His centering pass is a pinball that goes right to Nico Sturm. That's number 7 on the season for number 7, and all of a sudden a little breathing room in this game. The Sharks with a 2-1 lead after 40 minutes. Which brings us to headline number 3 in the third period. William Eklund and Macklin Celebrini stepping up to give the Sharks a 2-goal lead and then keep a 2-goal lead. And then Will Smith gives them a 3-goal advantage and ultimately the win. Eklund had a great shift already going when a Shakir Mukhamadullin point shot dropped him to the ice. Fortunately, 72 gets up. He goes back to the corner. That's where Tyler Toffoli eventually finds him. And from this non-optimal shooting angle, he beats UPL Eki getting his 13th goal and 46th point of the season in game number 58. Then later on, look at the Sharks move the biscuit in their O-zone to generate another chance. All 5 skaters here touching the puck before number 71 drops the hammer. That's right, Calder Brainy. Say it with me, everybody. He had so many good chances in this game, probably enough for a hat trick. He only gets one. It's this one, but he'll take it with the win. And then Will Smith on the rush later in the game with numbers. It was a 3-on-1, which number 2 buries for another multi-point game. That one put the Sharks up by 3 and effectively ended the night for Buffalo, as Toffoli also had the empty netter later on to get Team Teal to 6 goals. For the Sharks, their first back-to-back wins since the very first 2 games of this calendar year 2025. And to be honest, much as this hasn't happened in a while, it should also not be terribly surprising. I mean, if you've been watching recent games, you could see all of this coming. Not a bad night when you get goals from Eklund and Celebrini and Smith, and the good guys win by 4.